bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the
That's perfect. Hey, yes, this is the Spark of Madness winner of Indy
Never
PopCon's
give us an
best
award
intro.
for that.
Yeah, award-winning.
I like your graphic down there.
Oh, that's wrong. I should change that.
There, much better, much better.
He's so clever.
This is Spark of Madness. I'm Matt. That's Ben, and that is Aaron, and we are fresh off of our
Fresh off of really bad impressions.
yeah, we're a little bit. A lot of Kermit the Frog will be worked in tonight. So we before we get to the episode and kind of the reason we're doing V for Vendetta tonight, we just spent 3 days last weekend at Indy PopCon.
And boy, are our arms tired. Oh, wait. I have a button for this.
From all that high-fiving that we got
Wait.
for how great our booth was.
Matt, shut up.
And then all the hand sanitizer we bought.
Okay.
Yes.
My joke is funny now.
But yeah, so if you're in Indianapolis, we were at Indy PopCon. We had a booth and we had a green screen where we did, like, you could come and take your photo, and then we uploaded it to all our social media pages, some of which we just green screen people into ridiculous situations, so you definitely should check that out. What else did we do?
Didn't we raise money?
Well, yeah. Yes, that's right. That was the highlight. Thank you. Yeah, that was the biggest thing. We were raising money. We were spinning. You could come and spin the wheel and win a prize of like the sort of things. If you follow our, if you're one of our patrons, you got to see the video of us getting some of those prizes when we went DVD shopping.
That was
Somebody
fun.
specifically chose Joe Dirt, by the way, when they won from the huge stack. They're like, "Yep, I want Joe Dirt."
What is that, the
They walked
plebeian
away.
filter?
Yeah. But we raised $300 for Gaming the Greenway, and I got the text from Robbie earlier, and they are going to send a Switch to a little girl in Pennsylvania.
Wow, she's going to be playing Bing Bing Wahoo in no time.
That's right.
That new Sonic and Mario Brothers Olympics game looks fun.
Are you sure?
No.
Because it's not the first one.
Oh.
It wasn't good.
The big hit, though, from our PopCon booth, aside from Aaron winning Best Intro, which
We
won.
won.
We won. We also got in the top 3 for Indy PopCon, the podcast awards for TV
Yeah.
movies.
With a nomination of 4. No, I don't know.
I think they said it was a pretty crowded category,
Okay.
but we were in the top 3 again.
We did good.
Next year we will win.
It's
But,
those Russian bots. They ruined it for us.
But the biggest thing,
Yes.
the biggest hit from our booth over PopCon was our vote that normally we only give to patrons again, but for the convention, we allowed people to come up and vote on which movie we're going to do for the show, and it really became like which movie was better, and that decided what we're doing, and it was between Watchmen and V for Vendetta. And
Which one won, Matt?
V for Vendetta won,
I'm
which
surprised.
I am psyched for.
Honestly, I'd have been happy either way.
It
Wait
was-
a minute.
It
I
was
thought
a-
we were supposed to review Phantom of the Opera.
Oh,
The whole
damn,
wrong
on the
movie.
wrong
Gosh
night.
darn it.
You had all these organ jokes like ready to go.
He brought his organ.
You said we're doing that movie about the guy in the mouth. It's like, V for Vendetta.
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 Was that like a metering thing?
Yeah.
Nice. I
It's all
liked
about the
it.
syllables, baby.
I liked it.
So we're going to talk about V for Vendetta. If you're brand new, which as of now we don't have any additional viewers yet, but if you're brand new,
Vendetta.
what we do is we'll introduce the movie we're going to talk about, and we'll talk about it, and then at the end we'll give our rating out of 10. So, Ben, do you want to give people the synopsis if they haven't seen V for Vendetta?
All right.
V for Vendetta was a 2006 film adapted from the graphic novel by Alan Moore, directed by James McTakey. Following World War, London is on a police state occupied by a fascist. Not the fascist. The fascist.
Gotta go
government.
fascist.
Gotta catch 'em all. And a vigilante known only as V, Hugo Weaving, uses terrorist tactics to fight the oppressor. My God, I can't read. to fight the oppressors of the world in which he now lives in. When V saves a young woman named Evie, Natalie Portman, I said it right, from the secret police, he discovers an ally in his fight against England's oppressors. Despite Alan Moore's distancing himself from the film, V for Vendetta earned $132 million at the box office and has a 72% on Rotten Tomatoes, because we know that Rotten Tomatoes means everything.
Business.
All right.
The more you know.
So, V for Vendetta. This just to start the show, that then we'll give our ratings. This is one of my favorite movies.
Is
So,
it?
I am pretty psyched.
Well,
Nothing.
it's good. I'll give you that.
I enjoyed it.
We'll get into it. I
Yeah.
might have some points of disagreement.
Oh. We did that at the same time. Is it
Like
a
we've been
coincidence?
doing a show for years.
I think it's a coincidence. No. I don't believe in coincidences.
He watched the movie.
I did yesterday.
You're gonna-
2 days ago.
You're gonna flip a domino that then knocks over like everything in
No,
this
I'm
apartment.
just gonna make a framed cuckoo egg. Because those are good. You ever had one?
Oh, the
Pretty
eggy in a basket?
Yeah.
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 We also
We call them framed eggs or cuckoo egged.
I like that.
I've actually never heard it called that before. Eggs in a basket or whatever is
We call
what they call it in the
We
movie
call them
is
framed egg because they're like a frame.
Wait, get right out of town.
I know. My mom made them all the time. They're so good. Do you like your eggs over easy? Or,
sunny side up.
oh. Oh.
I like him scrambled.
And the tour moves on.
So, V for Vendetta. Would
like
you
to
guys
make
consider
that.
this a superhero movie?
No, I think it's a graphic novel.
Well,
By Alan Moore.
the source material is.
don't know.
I mean, there's elements of superheroism because V's got like nondescript super strength and stuff, but it doesn't really affect much in the movie.
No. Yeah, I don't think I would call it a superhero movie either. Especially because it seems like more of a what I've always liked about the movie is it seems more of a holistic conceptual movie. Like there's Natalie Portman's character is just as important as V's character. So normally for a superhero movie, you're like really latched onto the hero part.
Well,
but
yeah.
she ultimately is the main character, I would say.
And it's not much of a superhero movie because in the movie they explore the concept that V shouldn't be a figurehead of any kind. He is everyone.
Right. Yeah.
And he renounces the idea of being the leader of something.
Yeah.
To the point where we never know what he looks like.
And that is very good.
I think that's
Yeah.
great filmmaking.
Yeah. And even the version that was probably just like mostly normal Hugo Weaving when he played the guy in the little glasses. Shoot, I
You mean
forget the
old
character's
man?
name. The old man guy.
Wasn't him.
They even showed the mask that he supposedly
Yeah.
wore. So
Looked a
you
lot
had no
shoddier
idea.
when it was hanging on the mannequin head.
It did. Yeah, so for me, I actually had totally forgotten how the movie started off. I like movies that, I don't know, I would say overall, and
Gets right
maybe it's
into
just
it.
because of the graphic novel, written kind of similarly, is that structurally, from a pacing standpoint, from a like arc standpoint, and you know how much I like character arcs, I thought, and then how it ends on something that was kind of not unexpected, but something greater than the sum of everything before it. I thought the writing for the whole thing was great. I think that's the strongest aspect
For
of
its
it.
runtime, it flows very well.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's probably
I
the
never-
combination of the
Yeah.
graphic novel and the Wachowski sisters or siblings or
Yeah.
sisters. Now they're sisters.
Yeah.
Then they were siblings, brothers, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's their writing. They're actually really good writers, and I actually think this is the case of like the Poltergeist. What I heard, where technically that Poltergeist wasn't directed by Steven Spielberg, but it was heavily influenced by Steven Spielberg. So I think this movie was heavily influenced by them as well.
It definitely has the Matrix feel to
Which
a
is
lot
good.
of it.
By the Wachowskis or whatever.
Yeah.
Wachowskis.
Because
Yeah.
you can just tell, because I looked at the other guy's stuff and he didn't really make
anything else.
as
Well,
impactful.
And,
it could
you
be
can
the case,
see the DNA from the other movies.
And also
the
it
Matrix, to Aaron's point.
True, but it
Yeah.
also could be also the same thing that's happening with Game of Thrones. You have such a good source material.
Yeah.
That it's hard to screw up too.
I went years thinking this movie was directed by the Wachowskis because I didn't pay attention to the credits the first time I saw the movie. So
Because you never stay.
there's that to consider. I never stay for the beginning credits.
I'm just kidding. He doesn't. He leaves right after the Fox intro.
And nothing of value is lost. Can I get my money back?
Yeah, I'm done.
This popcorn was expensive.
It sure was.
Oh, I need some. Can I get some?
Goobers.
Let me goobers go around here, folks.
I think there's some, growing up as a kid, I always liked books that
I don't know about you,
were-
but I grew up as a monster.
He's a real monster.
I like movies, or I liked books and stories that were kind of like these dystopian versions of a future. I've always admitted, so
why'd you fucking hate Mario Brothers movie?
Oh my god.
You're right. You're totally right.
You're full of crap.
Mario Brothers is a 10.
It was too real for me, Ben.
Luigi, we're the number 10s.
Yeah.
We are the best movie.
I shouldn't have cussed there. It was inappropriate.
As long as it's not in like the first minute of the show, we'll be okay.
But I liked the imagining of a future world, USA gone, this virus hit. It's an entirely new existence of,
Where we're still using CDs.
in the original source
And Dell laptops.
in the original source graphic novel.
Dude, you're getting a Dell.
God.
Sorry, go
This
on.
movie did get a dough.
In the original, Alan Moore's graphic novel, and this is part of the reason why he distanced himself, was because it becomes like a commentary on where the political landscape at that time for him. I think it was like
very
Margaret
British.
Thatcher or whatever,
Right.
and then
They had a lot of 1984 in it.
yeah. Well, then the Wachowskis kind of made it more like anti-George Bush, and I think
really?
they worked in more for this movie.
I didn't feel it.
Only in the sense that they really don't like Middle Eastern people in this movie.
I'm guessing that if you imagine 2006 though, it would have
Right
rang
after-
a little bit.
Because right after, 4 years after 9/11?
5.
5 years, but second term, people are pretty heated.
I'm done.
But I like.
I'm the biggest Bush fan.
All this to say though, I
Oh,
like.
yeah.
I like.
The band, not the president.
I very much liked that they imagined this world that didn't seem so unrealistic from being possible.
No, it felt very real.
But they also worked in, like, for me, if you work in something that's like, these are objectionable material, like this is objectionable art that needs to be hidden and like, oh yeah, I'm on their team, like immediately. Like if something is being censored because of like, oh, you can't have the Quran out, or you can't have this painting of the High Ruler or whatever because it makes God Save the Queen. Stuff like that starts to like world build in the background that I
Yeah.
liked very much about all of this.
And they didn't do it too much. Because if you'd have done it too much, it'd have been like, okay, we get it.
I really
Ours
love the fact that they made
outlined.
Natalie Portman's hair really pretty. Just so it can be shaved off.
Yeah.
Stunning and brave.
When I went into this movie, I was like, God, I hope they don't shave her head. And then
I sure hope they let her keep her hair. Oh!
But then I got distracted by the cuckoo egg, the framed egg. That looks so delicious.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a framed egg, Matt?
we gotta go back to that. What did you guys think of the?
Those framed eggs.
This show is like
Those
poetry.
framed
It
eggs are
rhymes.
always sending a letter to the governor so that it can, review his case and be pardoned.
Where is this going?
Yeah, I'm wondering.
It was
if
a
there's
framed
more
egg.
here.
It was framed.
Oh! I get it now. Matt, you were saying.
Shall we ruin this pod for Matt's
No,
favorite movie?
Please stop. I have so much.
Let him talk.
All right, Matt. I'll
How about this? Let me ask you guys, because I have a lot of favorites about this movie. we can maybe do like our old good bad ugly. We won't do ugly maybe, but like good bad. What was some of the best aspects of this movie for you too?
The very best aspect is that you never see V's face already.
Yes.
We've already talked about that. The other good aspects are that it's a believable future. It's a future that doesn't seem too far removed from the one we have now. In fact, as I said before, they're still using compact discs
Another good
and
fact is
4x3 monitors.
another good fact is that they have such good, strong character arcs in all the main characters.
Yes.
Especially for Evie.
Evie.
Oh gosh, yeah.
The whole fear angle, and not just even the scene where she goes through the like fake torture and stuff, but like they set that up really
And
well.
I actually think this is probably one of the best movies she's ever been in.
I agree with you.
That
yeah, totally.
This
It's
and
like-
like
it's made her
Leon.
really-
This and Leon are standouts for me.
Yeah, but it's so creepy, Leon, that she's so young and he's like a grown man.
But
Okay.
if you think about one of the better kind of parallel parts in the movie is, you know, they show the flashback to her hiding under the bed as a kid.
And then they do it again.
And then they did it again with Stephen Fry's character as an adult, and that's kind of her like cue point as a character. But then it immediately goes into this fake out sequence that, for me, I had the first time I watched this, I had no idea.
Me neither.
I had no idea
Me neither.
whatsoever.
Except, you know what's funny is the second time I saw it, I noticed that the guy who grabs her with the ski mask on, you can see
The burn marks.
the burn marks on his face under
Yes.
the ski mask.
Awesome. That's great.
But that's good filmmaking.
You know what's weird though? In all the interrogation, most of them, you can hear Hugo Weaving's voice.
Oh yeah,
But there's a
yeah.
couple of them where I'm like, I don't hear Hugo
You know
Weaving.
what's really interesting too? They cut away for it, but like to not explain it. It was like he goes processor, and like, what did you go out and then change real quick and come back in? I mean, like, and it takes her out. I mean,
Hang on a moment.
Yeah.
there's little things like that.
Wait here.
And he had the fake guard, which is good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate
But I love that storyline with the notes. I
Oh
really love
yeah,
that.
that still was like one
It's
of the more
emotional.
and it's just so beautifully written too. Like the way it's narrated and the way all the words and then how it ends and you keep it on her too for her.
And it was a
reading
double,
Yeah.
I don't know. You killed two birds. Not well. They did two things at once.
You
Two more.
accomplished a lot.
They
with
did
it.
multiple
Yeah,
that
yeah.
thing. Where not only does he test her to see her loyalty, but he also shows her how he like part of what he had to go through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that they were like to show him. Like so it was a very intimate, double intimate thing.
Well, and
And she's mad, which is realistic,
oh yeah.
Oh, I'd have been mad too.
but like they pull it off where she understands. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's
in a real in like
She had to
'cause-
sleep on it.
Yeah. Well, and the whole thing with the Valerie note is, to your point, in the whole sequence is she goes through what he went through. She gets tested, and he gets to see like, well, is she going to overcome her fear or not? It also reinforces a lot the world building thing of like this person is objectionable in some way, and she gets to kind of experience that and relate back to her parents. But also, it tells the it's a good character arc for V too. It gives us like some insight into him, into like why he was there. Like we had no idea who these people who were being experimented on were yet, and they actually were rounded up, and so V was one of the people rounded up to be there, and so you get even more like information behind his motivations and stuff, which makes it awesome. Yeah.
And the best part about it, we find all this information about this other character that's not even in it, but how easy it would have done if they would have made that him, and we tell his backstory, and it would have ruined everything. We still don't know who he
it's
is.
a
Everything.
totally
We still
separate
no idea
character.
who he is.
Yeah.
And I think that
He
is
has
great.
no idea who he is.
It's
Yeah, he's
that's
lost-
what
yeah.
it ties it together at the very end where he's everybody. It's like the crux of all of this. This pivot moment is literally somebody else that he's
and
embodying.
the paramount or the parallels to the Count of Monte
oh yeah,
Cristo.
Oh yeah, that too.
and how she made it effort, like how she thought Desmond was so selfish. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to be with someone who's so full of vengeance? And kind of
Yep.
I
planted a
see.
seed.
And then he
With
goes
him.
through, and you wouldn't think he would, and they almost set it up that he's not going to go through the arc of, because he, remember in the tunnel at the end, he's like, I got to go. And he leaves and does it when she's begging him to stay. And then when he comes back, there's that like really good moment where he's like, you changed everything, like for me. And, like this was 20 years in the making, but then you showed up.
And it's got a Phantom of the Opera vibe, but the character's totally not Phantom because the Phantom of the Opera is so selfish. You mean?
Yeah.
And like this guy.
And V starts selfish.
He does, but the greater he doesn't care about himself.
Yeah.
Whereas
He initially is entirely self-centered, and he learns that that is not the way to be.
well, and he's also not like he's not a victim. Mm-hmm. Whereas the Phantom, like you felt sorry for him. You felt sorry for V, but he didn't feel sorry for himself.
Not one, and they even
and like even like the hands, like they show his hands in the Phantom of the Opera when they show that he's like, like this, like you can't see me. But where he's like, oh, well, look, let me fix this, and like he's like a little surprised, but he's not embarrassed by it.
Well, and they even call out that he is a monster. Like that was, I thought, one of the better, really good written line was they were like, they treated me monstrously. And then she was like, and they created a monster because he's literally killing people. And they like bring that to the surface that he knows what he's doing, but he has like this really articulate agenda that you get behind
lots of
over the course of the
alliteration.
I
movie.
cannot imagine trying to be the actor for that role.
I
Trying to
can't.
read
Being
those
Hugo.
lines.
Well, so he said them and then they overdubbed it. So he was the person
This movie is an editor's dream.
No, but I'm saying like to overdub it like would be hard.
Oh, to do it after, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just
well,
to say
but
those
like
lines
you're
and
mimicking yourself.
So
Yeah.
was that him in this?
Yeah,
scene?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
the whole time. Not the whole time. Probably
Maybe not when he's doing the super awesome
So that's
fights.
him. I'm glad they let it to be him still.
What?
Matt, when
Well,
you
go ahead.
one thing I want to bring up, as I understand it in the graphic novel, he's much more ambiguous as to whether he's an actually good guy. Is that so?
It's been a while since I read it. I just assume
As I
everything's
understand
perfect.
it, you're never quite sure if he's actually doing the right thing. And I wondered if that could have been brought across in this movie, because you never doubt him for a second.
Yeah, he is
not. Yeah, in this he's very much. You're on board with V.
Yeah, they could have done a Sweeney Todd kind of feel. This character.
He could have sang.
He could have sang and killed people with razors. But I think what they could have like done like that. I'm not sure about him. I think it's a good call.
One seed of doubt would have been nice.
No, but it still worked regardless.
I think they
mean,
tried to start. Well, I mean, they
torturing Evie is a seed of doubt. I would
right.
say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and when she comes out so angry, like it's pretty brutal. Like what he did. The first time I watched it, I was like, how? Like I know you're testing her, but this is ridiculous. What you just
Although
did.
based on her hair growth in that scene, she couldn't have been in there long.
Yeah, it wasn't. It couldn't have been.
Couldn't have been more than like 2 days. Her hair was still quite buzz cut when she got out of there.
Yeah, it was. Let's just say it was less than a month at least. That'd
yeah.
probably be the max.
You know how?
And her
okay.
British accent works.
Yeah, it
she's
does, it
pretty
does.
good. She was the best part of the movie.
And you know what? All the British people out there are like, no, she wasn't.
It's like today she wouldn't get the role.
All the British people are
She
over
get the
there
biscuit.
saying, you what?
You a nanny?
What?
They use the word bollocks a lot.
Bollocks.
Bollocks. What does bollocks mean?
It's like the word. It's like saying bull crap.
Bollocks.
Bull crap. What did?
Bull gullet.
What?
Bollocks.
What did not work very well in the movie?
I don't know that there was anything that didn't work well. I thought that there was a lot of broad stroking of everything in the movie. Like nothing was super specific. I'm not sure how to articulate this, but I feel like they graze on a lot of things and kind of expect you to accept them. I don't know.
Like what?
I don't know if I'm coming across with this.
Well, it
might have been for
definitely had
runtime.
like big kind of dystopian ideas of like the government is responsible for this huge thing happening
1984.
and look at the media is involved and blah, blah, like, and then they try and not weed it down, but hone it down onto a couple specific characters, but it does feel kind of like big things happening and V is trying to
Right.
do them.
It feels like it's kind of just expects you to accept things without too much explanation, which is okay. I have one leap of logic in the movie that I doesn't sit well with me. At the very end, when everybody's marching to Parliament and all the people in charge are dead, and the army just says, stand down. That never would happen. They would totally just be like, our last order was to kill them all. Tell me I'm wrong. Nobody?
I don't think you're wrong. Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, I'm glad everybody's on board.
Yeah.
Everyone would die.
Ben, anything that stands out as not that great to you?
Well, he kind of overcooked the cuckoo egg. Oh my god! It got really hard.
I saw some brown.
and she was eating it like a cracker.
Yeah.
It was too much.
She also
Well, the egg wasn't good enough.
like overreacted in terms of how delicious it was. Like,
Yeah, it's just toast. Come
Well,
on.
they're also trying to explain that they don't get that kind of good food.
Yeah, no
Those are-
butter.
just
Those are-
orgasmic butter. Okay, great.
You know what? Butter ain't that good. I'm going to say it right now.
Don't tell Paula Dean that. But,
Very good. Very good.
Bollocks!
The couple things that stood out to me, or at least
Maybe you'll jog my memory.
the
'cause
main one was, I thought, while I really like the idea that they're tying it together to the detectives talking through like how all these things are interconnected and they lead into each other and they're going to crescendo into this big moment that he's afraid. And
Crescendo,
it's like he's thinking it's going to lead to the revolution that V's been planning. But I thought the dominoes thing was a little bit much.
It was a little,
Yeah.
little much.
That was there for the people whose IQ is around room
Oh,
temperature.
look, like all this work he had to do, and he made it perfectly.
Yeah, took him like 20 years to set that up.
It's like Home Alone.
Oh my God, it's like Home Alone.
Yeah, it's like it's like
Except there's no paint cans.
no, there isn't. He did that like during Christmas Eve night. By
Yeah.
the way, that was kind of silly.
The only other part that and this is more nitpicking.
Do you think Kevin McAllister could win in a fight between D and V for Vendetta?
No, but I think Shia LaBeouf would.
What were you gonna say, man?
I was getting to that, Ben.
You stepped on my
Yeah,
Macaulay
geez.
Culkin point.
I made my government disappear.
Oh, that was. There's nowhere to go. No. I have no.
Woo.
We should almost end the pod there. I was gonna nitpick a little bit about the Benny Hill, Stephen
No,
Fry thing.
no. That they were hearkening back to the good old days of British TV.
But clearly that was what's his name? The Elephant Man. What's his name? The president who played the actor.
John Hurt.
John Hurt.
John Hurt, yeah.
Yeah.
The Elephant Man.
Alien Burster
It was
Man.
clearly him. Not
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, but there were two of them. How do you explain that?
That's true.
Let's rate the movie. Let's go first.
I'll go first. I like this movie, and it's one of those movies where once I turn it on, I can't pause it. I kind of have to just see it through, you know? Even for, and I don't generally like longer movies. This one clocks in like, what, 2:15?
Really? It was
A little over 2 hours. Yeah, I was actually surprised it was that long.
It's not long,
Didn't feel that long.
but it's not short.
Yep.
And at no point did I feel like I could skip through any of it, or
No.
I had to see it through. It
was-
was an adventure.
It was well tapered.
Yes, I would give this movie a 7 out of 10. Very good comic book adaptation. Lots to like about it. Not much to dislike about it. Anyone want to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay,
I give it an 8.
give it an 8.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it in theaters. I enjoyed it again watching from this many years now. It's a good movie. Love it.
13 years.
Okay.
Good.
As you know, this is one of my favorite movies, but I will not let that.
4 out of 10.
I will not let that factor in. I think the best one thing we haven't talked about. I think they were deliberate and restrained with their action sequences, which I think is refreshing for a movie like this. I
Yeah.
don't think they went overboard. I
And
thought
then
they
the
were,
trailers were all action.
Yeah, but the movie itself is plot. It's story.
Which we
It's
don't have
not-
that today.
Yeah,
No, we really
don't see that.
And,
very
which,
often.
and the movies we do have like that don't do very well.
Yeah,
And no scenes where Hugo Weaving uses V words like 100 times
yeah.
in one line.
I mean, you just need that.
we
in
need
every
more
movie.
alliteration, Hollywood.
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
Stop with these Michael Bay scripts.
I think this is. I thought Ben nailed it. I think this is maybe Natalie Portman's best role as a character all the way through, and performance-wise is amazing. But the thing that really sticks with me is just the ideas that come from the movie.
The ideas. It's all about ideas.
The ideas are bulletproof. That's an amazing line and concept. But then
ideas
they
are
work.
bulletproof,
But
yeah.
then they work in that. But you can't kiss an idea. That even though this is a great concept and something that is like conceptually really interesting to see through and can play out in this dystopian world, there's still this character element underneath, and they did both of those things really well, I thought.
To crush ideas is and censorship is the worst thing that could ever happen.
Yes.
Other than like dying.
Then you're not an idea at all.
Ideas are bulletproof, like the Oompa Loofah.
Like
Come down, come right up for our Oompa Loofahs. Only $10.99. $10.99.
You'll have to message one of us on Twitter if you
Yeah.
want to know what that's about.
Clean your Wonka bar.
I don't think I said.
I call it the Wonka bar because it only gets unwrapped once every year or so.
So
There's a golden ticket.
I like. I love this movie. I'm going
do
to
you
give
give
it
it?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Oh.
Okay.
Our stars align, Matt.
Yes.
Wow, we got a pretty even
Mostly-
spread on this one.
Yeah, if we account for the Aaron.
What was the total
scale.
of people voted against this? What was it?
It was like 74 to
55?
57.
It
or
was a
something.
runaway.
Yeah, it was a runaway.
Between The Watchmen and that.
Yeah.
Which
so
means-
V for Vendetta very obviously won. And Watchmen, I guess we're just not going to talk about it, or should we talk about it?
Maybe we should do a review next week on it. What do you think, Aaron?
I think that is a good and unplanned idea.
Very well.
So next week, I guess we'll do Watchmen for the people who didn't, for the 50.
I concur.
For the 50-ish people who thought Watchmen was better than V for Vendetta, well, next week's your chance. So
I also like that movie.
Same dumb time.
Doesn't
same-
it feel like a cop-out that, we've had a vote and we're just giving out participation trophies?
Well, Ben, if people want to have like a tried and true vote that is independent of this separate PopCon thing, they should be a patron. And then there is no second place.
Wow, we didn't plan that.
No.
We didn't.
That's an excellent segue.
Yeah. So next week we'll do the Watchmen. Same time, same place. Anything else?
No.
Ready?
Ready?
Let's blow up Parliament. Hold
Hold on, I need to do the thing. You guys are horrible.